Hello. Hi guys. Welcome back to my channel. This is Chloe and thank you so much for clicking on today's video. Um so I'm back. I took a year off YouTube and I it's so strange to talk to a camera again. It's really weird. I don't know how I feel about it, honestly. It's like a weird nostalgic feeling, but at the same time it feels strange because I haven't done it in a while. And I just wanted to come back here because, I really wanted to come back to YouTube and sort of like update you on why I left in the first place because there's very specific reasons as to why I left. Um, but more so because some people were reaching out on my Instagram, like sending me messages and being so kind and kind of concerned, like, hey, are you doing okay? And I didn't know how to come back to YouTube without having to talk about this. And I wasn't ready to talk about this for a really long time because it was a really um, difficult part of my life, and 2023 has been a really rough year, and I'm still dealing with it. But I feel like I'm in a place where I can talk about it without getting upset, and just to let you guys how I'm feeling and what's been going on in my life. First, I want to thank again every single person that reached out to me and messaged me and asked me how I was doing, if I was fine. Thank you so much. I really appreciate your concern and your interest. It's very nice to know that people care. And I just want to say also thank you to my family for supporting me through this really difficult time. Because they've been my rock. My friends and my family have been my pillars, and through thick and thin, they've been there for me. So if any of my family members or friends are watching this, thank you so much. So as you guys may know or may not know, I was in a relationship up until May of this year. I briefly mentioned my ex-fiance on this channel. He never made an appearance. He was very camera shy, and I really respected his privacy. But we were in a relationship of 3 years, and the relationship ended in May. And we were going to get married. We had plans of getting married. We were actually engaged. I was going to share that. Um, you know, at some point, I was going to share that I was engaged. I didn't want to make it super public because I don't know, it felt very private and it felt like such a private part of my life. But I did get engaged in February of this year, and we ended up breaking up in May. And that me calling off the wedding and calling off the engagement has been probably one of the most difficult times I've had in my life. And it's been really difficult for him as well. So I wanted to protect that. I wanted to protect my grieving and his grieving. And I wanted, I really respect him as a person. So I didn't want to come on YouTube and just be a bitch and, talk about this because I didn't have it in me. Like, I'm just the type of person, when I deal with things, I just deal with things really personally. It's really hard for me to talk about stuff, which, I'm working on. And so I've been dealing with this in therapy. And I've been dealing with this with my friends and family. And I've found a really supportive network. But I'll just give you a rundown of what happened, what caused the breakup. Of course, I'm going to be very vague because there's another person involved, and as I said, I respect their privacy and I want to have some privacy of my own. But as I said before, I'll give you some explanations because this is also very therapeutic for me. And if someone I've been watching for a year suddenly disappears, I want to know what's up and what happened in their lives. So, as I said, we were together for 3 years. We were in a long distance relationship. So I live, born and raised in Buenos Aires. So I live here in Buenos Aires, Argentina, which is in South America, if you guys don't know. And we met through a job that we shared a couple of years ago. So we both have different jobs now, but we met online, and he was initially from Massachusetts, from the US, and then he moved to Florida. And so we started seeing each other back and forth. We were traveling. It was a very difficult relationship because of the nature of, we were long distance, but also the fact that, if you guys don't know or are not familiar with Argentina, there's really, really high inflation here right now. So traveling there was becoming more and more difficult. And the nature of the relationship was in and itself quite difficult because of the long distance aspect of it. But we, with time, it became more and more evident that we were very, very incompatible. And even though we share very similar values and we had a very similar long and short-term goals, like we both wanted to get married, we both wanted to have a family sooner than later. I'm 26. I want to have kids by the time I'm in my 30s. So like we had very similar like life plans and goals, but there were a lot of things in the relationship that were not working, and I was feeling I think the most anxiety and stress I'd felt in a while during the last months, like coming to the breakup, because I was just feeling so uncertain about marrying him and being with him. The way in which we would engage in communication felt really weird. I felt like we didn't have the best communication. I felt like we couldn't see eye to eye on many things and the way that we treated each other. I felt like we didn't have a very affectionate relationship, like physically affectionate relationship. And that is a core value that I expect on any relationship that I have. And that's not something that I'm willing to compromise. And the fact that we were long distance made it even harder because I don't see you for 5 months. When I see you, I want to cuddle you and hug you all the time, and this wasn't really reciprocated, and that was very difficult to deal with. Of course, there were some other things that I rather keep more private because they're part of our private life, and it has to do with dynamics of the relationship that I don't feel comfortable sharing. But we were just not in a really good place, and I couldn't see things changing. And you need to understand that this was a relationship that would have required me to move across the world, basically give up on my whole life, like not see my friends and family often, change jobs, live in a completely different country. I speak English, but Spanish is my language, you know what I mean? Like I love speaking in English, and I love English as a language, but it's not my first language. And I feel there was a really big cultural shock, even though, his family is lovely. Like I have only nice things to say about his family and his friends as well. But it didn't feel like home. And I feel like if he didn't feel like home, then what's the point of trying to make that a home? What's the point of moving across the world to be with someone that doesn't feel like home? I don't want to get too emotional in this video because, it's been months since the breakup, but it's probably the hardest breakup I've ever been with. I was going to get married in July and it's August, and July was really difficult, but August was really, really difficult as well. My mental health was not in a really good place for the last months. I'm only now starting to feel better. I'm starting to feel like a person again. But I have to tell you, my anxiety levels, my stress levels, it was probably the worst it was in a while. And as I said, if I didn't have my support network of friends and family, I don't know how I would have made it. I honestly don't know. So yeah, this is the reason why I disappeared from YouTube, but I am more than ready to come back, share daily vlogs or weekly vlogs. I will probably do the odd commentary videos, but I don't think that fulfills me as much as just blog chill videos. And I want to say thank you so much for watching, and if anyone's going through a similar thing, grieving a breakup or even grieving a person, I'm here for you, and I'm really sorry that this is happening to you. And I want this channel to be a place where you find comfort and support, because that's what this is for me. YouTube is my comfort. Making YouTube videos makes me happy. So yeah, thank you again so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye guys.